Hey everybody. Okay, I'm back. I am just waiting to bring up the meeting and then we'll go over it. Oh, I think I just heard it come up. Hey Wyoming. Okay, cool. So yes, hello, welcome. I'm gonna do my take on the meeting. There's me saying hi. Hey Scott. Hello, friend. Thank you guys for saying like leave us alone, and then if necessary, I can just delete them. They gave me a good amount of evidence to work with already, right? So Mr. P is the actual chairperson of the public safety, and I'm a member of part of the public safety. Hey, we did, I want you to know, the debriefing, exactly. Yes. Hey, Trina. We don't have an actual sheet. You have interim sheet. Please, Scott says, please submit evidence to the court. Thank you, Scott. You can say whatever you want. It's like, yeah, but it's different when it is a coordinated campaign of harassment, Thank you, Wyoming. Yes. All right, so I'll let you guys listen to Colby for a minute, and you can kind of see the beginning of the meeting. I'll be right back. Okay? And so today we just want to have a very open, and when I say open, please speak with full fidelity on how you feel regarding the status of the public safety. As I noted, I don't have a confirmation on this, but we've lost 15 auxiliary officers. What are our auxiliary officers? If I could say it in the plainest terms, those are the individuals who do not carry them. However, they have the same duty of service and protection across our city and have been supportive in a variety of capacities. The presence of a police officer sets the tone. It just sets the tone for decorum, it sets the tone for safety, and so us not having that particular link. My question, and this would have been a question derived for our interim chief, what in the best and most positive way, or what are these government specific to Harvey across the platform? There is something that we can do here as a community. One of the things I saw recently that was sent out on behalf of the mayor's office was the corralling of getting precinct captains, block captains. And those are very essential measures to public safety. But I'd like to ask, I think just Harvey as a whole, and I can't necessarily speak for everyone on your block, but every other house is just about dilapidated, right? The home that I stay next door to, outnumbered 2 dead bodies have been found in that home. We boarded the back of that home at least 5 times, and it still sits open to today. We're on the main thoroughfare of 165th Street. So in instances like that, and perhaps here you can best advise with your presence, as well as Member Smith, since you're present, or Alderman Smith, but perhaps there is some, even greater, our interim chief is here, to provide some context around what specifically you could do to eradicate the violence. We're seeing the demographic of young people between the ages of 15 upwards to 34 who are ensued in violence, in gun violence. So what can we do as a community? And this is a very open and candid conversation, as I mentioned. What can we do to rid the violence in our community? Is it awareness? Is it knocking on the door of your neighbor? Is it marches? Is it more just community gatherings like back to school things of that sort, right? What is it that us as a community, right? I think he spoke about, Mr. Biddy spoke about a collaborative approach. So strategically thinking about what collaborative safety looks like, strategically thinking about what public safety looks like. The public safety on Broadway to Lexington looks different. Can we all agree with that? And I'm only speaking regarding the second one. But if you could take maybe 10 minutes with your neighbor and determine or figure out or even announce the issues on your own block and things that you've personally done to see to it that violence is increasing, and or what programs or initiatives. It's a very broad spectrum when you think about public safety. Just pinpointing something to do on your block. Is it boarding up the light? What is the cure overall to violence in our city?
Oh,
I don't know what the cure is. I don't know what the cure is, but I know that the home that I stay next to is abandoned, and over the last 20 years, I have spoken to the administration, everybody pretty much that's in this room, and lately for the last couple of weeks, I have a video and everything else. People jumping where we have boarded it up, they kicked it down, and now they dumping it in the back of the house at 15321 Ashland. And one young man is coming over the fence where.
I'm sorry, we don't have a moment for all of this.
Okay.
Well, we're going to break it down. Most of this is generated $1,000 resolution.
Okay.
And what we're going to try to do, we're going to try to show the navigation system, go out of it, and all of the plans and everything. And then we'll be able to sit through the whole situation, and we all pull together and get our city.
I'm back, everybody. Woo, I just had to cool off a little bit. Get some water.
There's a lot of things, public safety, the potholes and everything. We have a whole wide range of things to follow. So with that being said, when we start on one subject.
Oh, been saying. The sound is the audio. He said it was sound fine when he was recording. Yeah, I know. Part of it was even when we were in there, Wyoming, like for this meeting, you have to understand that the mayor does everything he can, and he did everything he could tonight to have. It was the mayor, Delaney, both of them. Well, the city administrator, Corinne Davis, was there. Ramona Simpson was there, who was, I think, the chief of staff. But they really he doesn't let Colby or Tracy really do much at the city council meetings, and he didn't need to be there tonight. I think he was there just to intimidate and try to control the meeting. And so part of that is like they only let them in to the city council chambers within a certain amount of time, and they don't really there's no one there to assist them as far as like to turn the audio on or the microphones and everything. So it was hard even sometimes for us to hear there, and we were reliant on people to project. You notice the one person who had a working microphone, right? The mayor. So that's the stuff that really, really pisses me off. So if I could do this meeting, or if I could have, arranged or done something different, I would have made sure to have the actual committee head, Tracy, to be in control of everything. He would have had a microphone and would have been able to pass the microphone to everybody else. But alas, I was not in control. I had to constantly bring up Jed. Right. Like, no, I'm not. Jed just inserts himself into everything. He shouldn't have even been there. What if we see Jed grab Ryan in his house? What? Oh gosh, you scared me. I'm like, wait, what? Okay, no, I'm here. do a quick explanation of what Colby said. Yes, she said a few different things, but was the lady there who snatched your podcast ball? No, I did not see Keisha Stokes. Her aunt, Alderwoman Delaney Smith, was there. Even the mayor's audio is difficult, maybe reverb. Ah, really? Yeah, as we watch it, I'll see. But yeah, why was he there? He did not need to be there. To me, he doesn't care, because every time Colby or Tracy or anybody or a resident tries to ask basic questions about city finances and business, what does he do? He tries to shut us up, right? So why would he care about a public safety committee meeting? I mean, to me, logically, it was just to try to control things, because he's a control freak, and to try to stifle a free meeting. And they did that several times. And unfortunately, Jedediah only helped with that, made the process more hostile. The video was a bit odd. I couldn't even tell which one was Jed. Really? Okay. All right. Well, I apologize for that. It might have been poor reception, as far as the internet, but let's keep watching.
Whatever it is, you bring up squatters, let's just all talk about issues with squatters.
Okay, so he was just saying, like, let's do things in order.
My understanding, right?
Oh yeah, there it gets bad. Okay, I see. Is that what you guys were talking about?
The streamlines the process for the squatters
Okay, so he was talking about, let's talk about squatters. Okay, blah blah blah. Got that.
This is a big thing. This is a big thing right here for Harvey to clean up all our vacant properties. I would suggest that we put signs on that on these vacant properties or possible stuff.
Oh, okay. So here in the beginning, Tracy was talking about preparing for the new. Okay, so the I forget if the governor signed it or he's going to sign it, but anyway, so there's a new law in Illinois giving police more power to arrest people who formerly would have been labeled squatters, but could be treated as trespassers. And I forget the time frame because I have to look at the exact text of the law. But basically, in the beginning, Tracy was just saying, hey, let's get ready because this new law is going to take effect as of next January 1st. So he was talking about that. The mayor is a threat to safety with exactly. That's why I was so aggravated that Tracy didn't call me. I was like, I wanted to say a few things, but I'll share them with you guys, but I'll wait till the end. But I had a few things I really wanted to say. The reception. Hey, plant lady. And status quo. Yay, you're back. It seemed like they tried to defend the squatter BS with Jed and Chappelle. I think so. I didn't even quite understand that. Yeah, in January it starts the 20. In 2026, right? Exactly, that new law. So, so that's the first thing that's going on. Just so you are aware of that. Okay.
On my block, we can't do that if it's a squatter in the house. If it's a law, gun violence, everything that's going on, that's why I'm wearing this shirt right here. I can speak truthfully, I'm a resident from Harvey. So a lot of these people that's out here, these young guys that are doing these things, we know a lot of these people. These are people that are grandchildren, kids, people need to feel comfortable when they talk.
So I think he was talking about, as a community, let's come together, stop the violence, try to talk to these people that are causing the violence. I just, I really apologize. It must have just been the placement of the building or something, because usually when I film in the back, I don't have this problem, but this was I think the Korean Davis, the city manager, and then speaking to on the left was Ramona Simpson, like I said, I think she's chief of staff, and there's a police officer. Also, you'll always know when Clark attends a meeting because there's way too many police officers.
When they talk about something, they go to police, can they be protected? They said this, a police officer,
right here is the guy who was with Mayor Clark. I think he was in Mayor Clark's vehicle because Clark doesn't drive anywhere; he gets driven around. And as far as I know, we pay for all that. So here's the mayor here. Here's Delaney Smith. She's the one whose niece assaulted and battered me. And Delaney has nothing to say about that.
So that you are secure being able to give information.
And here's the police
Now,
chief.
like,
They're both, of course, playing on their
if I
phones.
complain to someone, I'm worried about something, I can call
It's not like we just had a mass shooting in Harvey or anything, right?
line, and then they call the line and don't tell them who I am at all. Like I said, once again, that we do it, I want to, all right, so we're gonna have some people that's gonna represent, like, it's really, you're squatting right now, but ain't till January 1st. You don't.
I got a question. If, there's a sign that says no trespassing on an abandoned property, and you catch a squatter or a squatter, would they be considered a squatter or a trespasser? And couldn't they be removed because they're trespassing?
Well, actually, it's both. In the law, it's going to say both. They could be charged with different charges. Obviously,
So Chappelle was asking, okay, so if the sign says no trespassing, can they be arrested or removed for trespassing, or are they considered squatters? And again, I don't remember what the law says exactly right now, but generally, I believe unless you find them within a relatively short amount of time, most police departments will not remove people because they're like, oh, we don't want to get in trouble. We don't want to have it considered that like we're violating squatters' rights. However, that will be changing come January 1st next year.
First one,
And then the mayor wanted to answer, and then Tracy was right, but I think honestly, I think he just should have held his ground, and he probably was feeling like Clark is violating his space, and I'm sure you get uncomfortable. It's like, well, how do you handle that? Because Clark's stepping on everyone's toes. But yeah, so that's what he was saying.
well, you don't want this. You don't want this. And I'm an ad hoc member.
And then he says, well, I'm an ad hoc member. But like, let the dude have his meeting. Like you dominate everything.
I'm an ad hoc member. Would you like to be telling you the information that you want to know?
That's not fair.
Would you like me to tell you the information that you want to know?
Go ahead, so you've been recognized.
First of all, the mayor is an ad hoc member of all committees. That's number one. Number two is, I was trying to let you know, and I was waiting for a gap, because your agenda actually did say 6 to 8. So I wanted to let you know that yes, you do have some 8 o'clock, as far as that's concerned. And I didn't see that, that's what it said. But once I got that correction, I wanted to let you know. Is that okay?
No, actually, it's not.
And the mayor just said, oh, well, originally you were going to only be able to be here from 6 to 7, but now you can stay till 8. Again, he just loves to do these stupid, idiotic power trip things on people. It's like, who cares? This is our building. It's not your building to play king. Yeah, and so Tracy was like, look, let me talk. Let me run the meeting. Clark is defensive, blah, blah, blah.
He's not answering, I'm answering the question on his behalf. I'm still the CEO of the city, as far as concerned. It isn't as simple as one would make it out to the league. So I wanted to make sure that we got some clarity as far as that was concerned. If someone is alleged to have been squatting, the owner of the property still needs to come and claim the property. So residents can't just say that person is squatting or that other person is squatting.
So then Clark says the owner of the property has to make the complaint about squatters. So again, I'll have to check that legally. Trina might know off the top of her head. I believe he is correct there. But yeah. So anyway, all right. What did I miss? What did you guys say? Trump. Actually, I call Mayor Clark like little. He's like our little Trump, because that's what he just thinks the whole world revolves around him, and that you should praise him effusively and applaud him just for like doing basic things. They say the people who been shooting along as time for years. Yep, that's what the police said. Too late to left that shooting scene, especially with that van getting gunned down the day after. Yeah, that was very crazy. That was a crazy scene. Yeah, and to me, Harvey police didn't like the only police that I really even ran into that were talking to anybody to like in the public. They weren't even from Harvey. So it was I was not satisfied with that response at all. It's kind of weird when I heard about the shooting. One name came to my mind first. I can hear Chappelle. Okay, good. Hey Diana. Oh, Diana, you have to tell us. Wait, were you talking to Jed after the meeting? Because I couldn't tell if that was you, and I was just driving by, so I couldn't see super clear. But people were like, "Wait, was that Diana?" The owner has to make the complaint of the trespassing. The sign protects the owner, but only if the owner moves it forward. Yeah, that's what I've heard too. I believe. Yep. What township you were doing a live on today? The meeting's next week. Yes. Yeah. Needs to be unelected. Right. Okay. Oops. Oh, so why were they? Yeah, they were clapping because the mayor said, "Oh, well, instead of going to 7, I'll let you go to 8." I'm like, Jesus. So that's why I call him Little Trump, because he acts like he's king. Hey, Lady Shay, where was the owner Clark incriminating himself? Oh, like what? Wait, what do you mean? On July 14th, about those properties, Trina? That's the law in my town, Wyoming. That sounds right to me. Yes. Why Jedi can evict a squatter? I don't believe he can legally. I don't think that our local police even can. It's like Trumpy spends money like Trump. Right. Oh, you did. Oh my gosh. No apologies. You have to tell us what happened. You have to tell us. But save it. Save it till the end. And as long as you don't mind staying with us, I want to know. I'm going to try to do a quick summary of the meeting. I don't want it to be. Jay? He cannot own the show. Correct. Yeah, that's what until that new law takes effect, that's always been my understanding, right? Local police cannot, private citizen cannot. Even if you own the property, you absolutely cannot, and you can get in huge trouble. You cannot remove people. You can't even do what they call constructive eviction. So let's say you're like, you were an absentee owner, you come back, you find people in there, they're squatters, and you're like, this is BS. It's my property. You can't have the utilities turned off. You can't lock them in. You can't or lock them out. You can't remove the doors. Like you basically can't do anything. Like all has to go through the courts, and then the sheriff is the only one who can evict. In Illinois and in Cook County, the laws are very strict. Because it's not that way in every state. I'm just saying in Illinois, though, that's how it is.
The actual owner request, then just go down, yes, you can just, like I say, you're squatting.
All the questions. Now, I guess it's the answers. I'll do. So we're gonna have to continue to speak. What we're gonna do next. I have a question.
Yeah, like everybody needed a mic. The mayor, I think, was the only one that had one, but it was just that room's too huge. It's all hard surfaces. There's nothing to cushion it because there used to be carpet, but Clark had the carpet being removed. The fans were going, and I even turned one of the fans down because it was even worse when I came in.
In regards to squatters, say you got a house in your neighborhood, you know the people that are living there don't own the house.
Okay, and then this is Missouri. So basically, Missouri asks a question like, "Well, if they're squatters, but they're violating other laws, can we get them for that?" And then the police chief basically says yes, yeah. So sorry, guys, give me 1 second.
Parties, they're using drugs, they're over there fighting, all kind of crazy stuff is happening in the neighborhood. They just become a crime factor, period. So how does the law pertain to something like that where they're violating other laws besides violating the squatters law? How do you handle that?
It would be as simple as you call the police department, let them know that there's drug activity or something along the lines of that, whatever it is. If it's drug activity, noise, you reach out to them so they can have an officer come by and they can speak with them and either issue citations and go background. It seems like you're actually, if the squad is actually doing that, or if it's people just outside of it.
No, squad is doing specific.
It would be you to call the police department, have them come over there, and again, like Mayor mentioned, it would have to be the owner of the property to actually get them evicted and or removed. But if it's something that happens and it's criminal, and the officers come there and they find out that it is in fact criminal, then they would take matters into their own hands as far as an arrest or something along the lines.
Now, is that the Illinois state statute?
I don't know the exact Illinois state statute.
Okay, so that's what we're trying to find out.
Well, yeah, we probably look it up.
Yeah, we need to know what the Illinois state statute is. That's important, because if we don't have that information, then if the picture's not clear exactly what you all are saying. You're just telling us something. You don't have the Illinois state statute. That's what we need.
But I think you can also go on Illinois, come out on statute's website and be able to tell, and then also bring it in. So I don't have it on the top of my head right now. I'm not able to just look up, I wasn't aware of this question. But if you can bring that to our attention, I'd be more than welcome to be able to sit on that conversation with you.
Yeah, because it's got to be a little bit more serious than that. If they're doing stuff they ain't got no business doing, and they don't own the property, they're not supposed to be there. Then I'm sure that the state of Illinois addresses something like that.
But it still goes back to the actual owner of the
Because
property.
we had a situation where on my block, we had people like that.
Sir, go down. And so these are the reasons, and all I'm asking is this man is here, and chief is here. And all the one. Since you're not allowed to speak to you unless, you think, whatever it is, so I want to get into all that. We got, and I know somebody else has some more questions for you. Right, I mean,
I don't think that it was answered.
okay, so we move on to the
No,
next.
I'm saying-
What wasn't answered?
Yeah, what I'm saying
Oh, the
is
question wasn't answered.
Well, okay, okay, so, Vinny, what I was trying to understand is this. So, would that be that the squatters have rights if they have broken the law? If they broken the law, how would it be that they have the right? You understand what I mean? That's just like if I break the law, I'm going to jail. So what made, you know what I mean? They, like, for example, like I said, if it says no trespassing, and they trespass, that's breaking the law. So would they be treated, would they still have the rights as a squatter? Or would they be treated, as a criminal?
Your determination is that they're breaking the law, but the courts will not make that decision. What the legislature has decided that once again, if the owner of the property can present information showing that they own the actual property and they want those people removed through our land squatters, trespass or no trespass, it doesn't matter, then the person will be removed. If there is not an owner who is saying that, remember, the owner has the right to put no trespass sign up here, and the owner has the right to be able to say whether that person can or cannot be on the property. So just because you see a trespass sign does not necessarily mean that the owner even put it up. So it varies on a case-by-case basis, but the key here is that the owner has to be present in order to get the squatter removed. Now, if the so-called squatter is engaging in some other illicit activities, I mean, if the squatter is sitting on the front porch with a crack pipe, smoking illegal drugs, then of course, the police officers have the authority under Illinois law to proceed to arrest that person.
Right.
But that's not because they're a squatter, that's because they were using
Right, that's my
drugs.
question.
Yeah, that's because they were using illicit drugs.
That was my question. Would they be treated as a squatter, would they have rights as a squatter, or would they be treated as a criminal?
Well, they would be arrested because they were engaged in illegal activities as far as drug use.
See, this is great. This is great. This is what we need. answers, questions, everybody communicating, because, you know, even if it's a law, you still gotta break it down, now you gotta worry about all the technicalities. That's what we need to know in advance. I was just saying, since this is not going to affect January 1st, and we immediately start acting on this, so when January 1st comes, we got all those questions, all these answers in our procedure, and we gonna move in full force January 4th in the squad about it.
That's what Mayor Clark said, the owner has to be present, but Harvey has over 4 abandoned properties without owner. So does that mean it's a free-for-all? I can move into any house that's abandoned I want, and there's no rules, no laws, and it's just a Wild West? Because if the owner has to be present to trespass someone, but yet there's 4,000 abandoned, there's no owner. The Cook County website lists over 4,000 abandoned properties here in Harvey. So there's no owner to come and say, get off my lawn. So then as of January 1st, then what? Does that mean that we don't need an owner anymore because it's abandoned?
Good question. Good question.
If there's no owner, then what?
We're not encouraging. So once again, there's certain things that you may say that are actually adverse to our city. I wouldn't go around telling people that Harvey has over 4,000 abandoned homes and you can all come and get rid of them. I wouldn't do that either. So, but
That's true, though.
well, yeah, that's true to find out, but I wouldn't. That's number one.
People already know.
Two, as far as that's concerned, because the county is responsible for most of these properties being taxed delinquent, and most of these properties being in the position that they're in. Because if the city of Harvey could acquire the properties in the time of fashion, then we can actually get those properties back on the tax roll, which is where they need to go.
That's right, I'm 100% agree with the mayor, and this is what we're here for, to ask questions and get answers, instead of starting our own speculations on how it's supposed to be. Once again, we need to get this moving for January 1st. I like to see it sometimes in October, and say, hey, we're gonna get this squad issued up, it's gonna help.
Okay, sorry guys, I'm back. That was actually just Alderman Key reaching out. So he just wanted to make sure that I recorded it because I think I was, other than the rabbi who came in late, I think I was the only one recording. So yeah, and I see how it's like blurry and stuff. First of all, people were not mic'd up other than the mayor. So that's the main explanation for the poor audio. But as far as the visual, as sort of how it looks so digitized or whatever you call that, pixelized, I think that was just, it must have just been the internet connection or something. So I don't know. I don't know why I was doing it there. And then usually if I'm in the back of the room, it's fine. But I did see a few comments. Who caused this property problem? Wyoming gal says, oh boy, Harvey's property problems have been happening for decades. But the worst of it is because of Eric Kellogg, who was mayor for 16 years and ran Harvey into the ground. This was prior to Mayor Clark, okay? Now, the reason why you have to pay attention, because many of my sources say that Eric Kellogg is the mentor. Okay, he's one of the worst corrupt mayors in Illinois history. So just Google him, Eric Kellogg and Harvey. He's the mentor for Napoleon Harris, who is the Thornton Township committeeman. He's the Thornton Township supervisor and does not reside in Thornton Township. And he's also the state senator for Harvey. Okay, and for a lot of the suburbs and such. So that's why you see how all this is linked together. Some people are like, well, I don't care about Harvey, or why is it important? Harvey is the centerpiece of the Southland. We can't change the Southland and fix these corruption problems without fixing Harvey. It's really important. So yeah, the property problems have been developed over the decades, but the city, under Clark has not been doing anything. Hey, Gardis, I can't wait to see what you're going to say, to hear what you're going to say next week at the township. My wife broke down, so I will have to postpone. Oh, I'm sorry. I hope you're okay, or she's okay. The board, because they had to vote to change location. Oh, that's why they wait. So where's the township meeting next week? They needed to use the mic and pass it around. Thank you, Diana. Right. So I give Colby and Tracy a lot of credit because the mayor and his associates did everything they could to make this meeting very difficult for them, and that's challenging to still keep the meeting going. But yeah, everybody needed to be properly mic'd up, and also yeah, just maybe like a little better organized, but it's hard, and you got Clark and his goons breathing down your neck. So they did very well given the challenges. Graves did a bang up job of Mayor of Harvey as well. Yeah, well, he was probably the best in excuse me, more recent history, the best mayor. But yeah, Graves was by no means perfect either. I definitely would have rather had him than Kellogg or Clark, but. A company purchased the homes. Now, if you're talking about the homes on Myrtle Avenue, those are owned by the city. So the homes that you saw Jed and the Harvey police performing what are the alleged illegal evictions, those are owned by the city of Harvey. So that's why, in my opinion, Clark and the Harvey police need to be held to account for that. Yeah. Loki Kellogg is a mentor for a lot of them current. Right. Yes. That's what I want people to realize. I'm like, please don't make buddies with these people thinking they're going to save you from corruption. Like, no. Why the community has all the blighted property? The reason is because these are poverty pimp politicians, right? So if we get the properties fixed up and sold to ideally favoring locals, right? We want to give to it. You don't want to sell out and gentrify where you in the negative sense where you give everything away to outside corporations. That's what Clark is trying to do with this J&T group, and then that one house on 155th Street, like that was given to this property company out of Orland Park. And see, that's what Clark does. Okay, so he gives it to his buddies, and they have connections outside of Harvey. So we don't want to do that, but the main thing is just letting the property sit. They just let them sit. And so I don't always know what the play is, but that's the main problem. Colby was not campaigning, probably that too, right? How are the homes owned by Harvey if the company paid to buy the owners out? So what happened on Myrtle is that this is the project that we opposed, and the Harvey Historical Society and others, Missouri Urban especially, we got almost 1,300 signatures, against the project to say save the old church and save these people's homes on Myrtle. The city already owns the church, and the MWRD handles wastewater. So Clark, what I believe happened is that Clark got the MWRD board to come on board with his plan, and he said, I want to have control over all those properties for whatever reason. He says he wants to build a park, but basically he got the MWRD to come along and say, yeah, we're going to take the homes for flood relief. Now, we had all these scientific and other reasons and the petition and everything saying like it's not needed, we don't want it, blah, 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 blah. And that whole MWRD board, including Precious Brady Davis, but who's Yumika Brown? Yumika Brown's running for congressional seat. And that's why I won't support her, because they knew that this was happening. We told them. We've been telling them the past 2 years, and they just don't. They didn't care. So they moved forward with it. The MWRD paid for the homes and then gave them to the city of Harvey. Poverty pimp. Yeah. Oh, you never heard that, Trina? I didn't coin that, but it's very true. It's very true. So the agenda is to keep, the goal is to keep Harvey, whether it was Harvey, Robbins, Dalton, Riverdale, whatever. We want to keep these communities looking bad. And actually the goal for these politicians is to make them look worse. Because remember, if they improve, and if you get too many new businesses and residents that are smart and that they may vote differently, then they're going to lose their power. So they get power and money through getting grants, federal, state, county grants, and very little oversight, right? Because they're just poor towns, quote unquote. And so they get away with a lot more than they should. Politicians are not your friends. Exactly, Gardis, right. Sometimes they do the right thing, but sometimes they do not. Tell them to use a time clock. Right. Yes. Like everybody was allowed to speak too long. And then I didn't get to say anything. Some people got like Jed got to talk like what, 3 times or whatever. Like I didn't get to ask anything. Nothing. I didn't get to make any comment. And several commented several times. People are not paid by Harvey. The company paid for the houses under a corporation of the city of Harvey. Yeah, MWRD acquired the homes and then quitclaim deeded them to Harvey. Oh yeah. You can just Google. You just look up the deed records. It's there. Right, like 157th, the grant the mayor announced. Right, I believe that we need to find out where that all the grant money goes, and that is the main reason I think why Clark does not want to open up the books. Because in from what I've been told, once that grant money gets to the general fund, good luck. Good luck in actually tracking down where it actually goes. So, but again, we don't have proof of what's happening because they don't want to open the books. Is there a paper trail that will show Harvey is the owner? Yes, absolutely. Phoenix, they're building better homes. Yeah, they do have some nice newer homes, right? What was my question, Ryan? I don't. Well, at the end I'll share mine. What's going on in these south suburbs is by design. Correct. Distraction with different people with the same agenda. Correct. They work together, and that's why we need to work together. What does he need? A pond when MWRD just did all that blasting in Harvey for the deep tunnel project, damaging people's homes in Harvey. Very good. Shut your water off. You know your history, your local history. That's right. Yep. They did blasting around, I think, 04, 05, 06. They did blasting for the deep tunnel project. And they said, that's going to fix all your flooding problems. And did you notice? They keep coming back. Now, my opinion is, I think the evidence shows this, is that why they're doing this and why there's always a need for more expensive projects is because money. Remember, they get elected because their buddies are contractors or other connected people, and they want money. Money. Now, I'm not saying necessarily that we have proof that like the MWD commissioners stole the money themselves. I'm just saying there's not, what is there to stop them from proposing projects that are wasteful or not needed? Like this whole project for Harvey was totally wasteful and not needed. And we presented evidence from the best, some of the best scientists in the country. And we had a petition with more than 1,200 signatures. And you know what they did the whole time? They did this. They were like, F you. We don't care, Harvey. We don't care, climate experts. So that's what tells me that when they're picking these projects and these grants, they're doing it for the wrong reasons. Because if you don't actually care about what people want or need, then why are you applying for millions and millions and spending millions and millions and millions of dollars, right? Somebody must be gaining from it. And we know, if nothing else, the contractors are. You had flooding. I'm sorry, Diana. I know I was watching my house. I didn't get flooding. I got a little bit of seepage, but that's the crazy thing, is that we do need help and we have the solutions. Like, we went to the scientists, and you know what they said? They agreed with me and with some other people that, deal in real estate, and we were talking to contractors. They said, oh yeah, just give grants or give money for sewer backflow valves. So basically you put a valve on your sewer line so that when it floods, you don't get the sewage coming back up. Because most people in Harvey, when they get the flooding, that's what it is. It's not, we don't get as much of like the flooding, like where you see the whole street flooding or something. Like they had that a lot in Midlothian. They still have that sometimes. But no, they won't do that. They wanted to build a pond. And taking these homes, building a park and a pond, actually, there's no guarantee it's going to work. Isn't that crazy? But if I have a backflow valve, like that's pretty guaranteed to work. If you do that along with making repairs to the sewers over time, it would fix the problem. Oh, sorry. Horrible reception, and we can't hear her. She's too quiet. And then Jedediah in the back there. Okay, it's Colby is the insurance lady. And I know you can't see her. That's the city manager right there. I don't know which officer that is, but.
And just to keep it looking nice, because it's right on the corner. But then when you down there in Florida, he said, I've seen the money.
Oh my God, you guys! I'm so sorry that the picture was so bad.
saw property and the grass needs to be cut. Weeds need to be cut. Take a picture before, cut the grass, send out a ticket. What he's supposed to, I don't know what exactly the American said, whatever. Me personally, if I'm a neighbor, if one of my neighbors is sitting right here, which I got plenty of them, and they got a vacant house on the side, and if they go out there and they cut the grass, they keep it on up, and help keep to maintain it and make it look like it's looking livable. If they want to move their grandkids or their house get too big.
Oh, okay. So he's talking about if someone was helping to take care of property that was nearby, why shouldn't they get like first dibs at it? That is one thing I wanted to bring up. One of the questions and statements, I had a lot actually, you know, more than I would have had time for, but that was Patterson. Oh, okay, thank you, status quo. You're right. You're right. Mm-hmm. Wish they would give money for backflow. They should. And you know what? Calumet City in South Holland, they give rebates. So as long as you coordinate with them, they'll give you a rebate for like to put in drain tile and sump pump in your basement, to do backflow valves. Why can't Harvey do it? Why can't the MWRD do that? There's no reason other than I think these politicians are colluding to either, you know, get jobs and money to their contractor buddies, and or because, you know, Clark and these other people are up to some real estate shenanigans that we don't really know. But one of the things I was going to mention is that Clark, when he ran in 2019, he actually promised to make a program where people could get property for cheap or for free that they had been taken care of for many years. Like a lot of people would have lots either across from them or next to them or something. And 6 years, he's totally ignored that promise. But that's the kind of stuff that we should have been calling them out on. Like I feel like there were a lot of BS. I mean, I don't want to say any questions are bad questions, but like, you know, like the stuff that they were letting Jed talk about, like that's the mayor's talking point that was supposed to that's just wasting time. Like, oh, taxes are owed. Like get out of here with that.
So we can be able to the city, so we can work on getting the taxes, you know what I mean, and work with somebody.
I can't hear it all. That's quiet. Okay, and then he.
Last day. So if you're already in there and you start spending your money, starting to rebuild stuff and do stuff.
Okay.
Call for that to sale because also.
Okay, and then they were talking about scavenger sale. Okay, so. And then Clark said, well, for right now, they postponed it, which I think they should, because there are a lot of scams with these tax sales or scavenger sales where people were investors, or basically taking people's homes away from them, you know, because they're behind their taxes and whatever. So, but like Trina said, it kind of got off track. Not that there are not some good points, but that's where, like, I love to play moderator. I would have just been like, I really would have wanted to moderate this meeting, because it was just, a lot of people had good things to say, but it was just, we needed the timing. We needed to go, okay, that's enough. Now we're going to move on to this one. And then save your question once we get everyone else's, then we'll come back to you. You know what I mean? And really just like keep it moving. Boom, boom, boom. South Holland has low escrow for home improvements. A lot of benefits to upgrade your home there. Oh, right. Yep. It's a diversion to keep us from acting in court. Clarify what you mean about that. I thought this meeting was about crime. It got away. Yes. I'm sorry. That was you. No apologies. You said that. We have to take these so-called leaders to court. We cannot just complain this morning. Right. I agree. Tracy's long-winded. Right. No, Tracy's sweet. He means well, but sometimes, right. Sometimes I get lost too. I was like, wait, what's he talking about again? It seemed that got derailed, Mandy. Correct. I agree. And they want confusion. Yep. That's why Clark and his gang were there. That's why Jeb was there. They were there to sow confusion. That was their sole purpose, So I was irritated because, yes, I'm trying to record, and then I have some of my own questions, but I also really, really wanted to play moderator because I hate when meetings are unorganized and discombobulated, but it's okay.
Conservation program, if there is a prize, then you can go about the process a vacant lot next door.
Come on up, Ms. Branch. Public safety looks like a wide array of things.
Okay, so yeah, we just basically wrapped that up. So they were just saying, the mayor was like, "Oh yeah, there's a program where you can get houses via the city, blah 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 blah." And he said that several times. He's like, "Go online," but it's not really legit because we still don't know how they decide who gets what properties. Okay, and then Colby comes up to speak.
It's not just, plus.
And then we're going to kind of skip around a little bit because she introduces an insurance lady. Okay, and basically it's true. You know, she talks about like, the importance of insurance, and somebody else said to get, you can use a death on transfer on death certificate as well to make sure your property gets transferred after you die, so it doesn't remain in probate. But the insurance thing was a good point as well. But we're gonna skip over that because it's like, again, not the main point. The next meeting, good question, French. That's right. Okay, what did he say that was right?
You don't want to be able to call and say, "Well, I talked to this person about this issue that nobody did anything." Who would you talk to? Well, I didn't get their name, or nobody ever was. And then once you get that contact, there's complaints. You got City of Harvey.
I've been going around individually.
You click up on the top.
If you guys tell me that next time, tell me that again in the feed, and I'll try to relocate the camera. It was just very awkward. It was very awkward and uncomfortable, once again, with Jed and his goons there, and Mayor Clark. Like, this was supposed to be our meeting, So I'm really pissed about that, because between Jed, his goons, and Clark and his goons, like, they showed up to try to intimidate again. The Bienvenue next to me, I don't want to pay $5,000 for homeowners insurance. Right. Yep. Stressed and pissed. I agree. And unfortunately, like I said, I think Colby and Tracy did their best, but Jed, the mayor, and his goons all showed up, and they were partly successful, right, in derailing and distracting a lot of the important things in the meeting. But I am glad that we at least got them on record, the mayor, the police chief, Tulane, on saying some things. I mean, it's probably, good that we did that, but yeah, I feel you there.
And type of fire department. Now, if you don't do that on, just sign up and get your spot to be the place, and you see an old tag, if you still, if it's not in, see, go ahead, trees, fall, and try to help receive them.
Could you repeat the question? Okay, and this is what the elderly gentleman has questioned, and then he got upset, and he was like, "What?" But I wasn't trying to be rude. It was just because we can't hear, and so how are we supposed to know what they're answering if we don't even know what the question was? And again, that was just an organization thing. So hopefully, if we have this type of meeting again, maybe we could fix that. But basically, he said, "Why doesn't the city fix up its properties?" Like, thank you. That's another question I was, wanted to ask. And then the mayor said the city's in debt and can't afford to fix them. We offer them for sale online, and our investors are fixing many of them up right now. Which investors? That's what I wanted to ask. Why do most of the sales, I would say, why do they go to Clark's donors and Clark's friends and associates, like J&T Group? And what's the other guy? The other Polish guy that owns the Alex's on 159th and Wood. Like, why aren't normal, regular Harvey residents able to buy these properties? And why is everything so top secret and complicated? Ooh, that pisses me off. Ooh, they do that on purpose. It's called gatekeeping. They're gatekeepers. I hate gatekeepers. Ugh. Okay, so I'm going to skip around again because that's basically what was said. And then Glynis said, what criteria Sorry. I wanted to mention, Clark said, well, the city council has to vote on it, on transferring properties. I can't do it myself, trying to make himself look innocent. But we know, whether it's via blackmail or bribery or whatever, I don't know what he has on the 4 alder yes men, but we know that that's enough votes for him to have a majority. So whatever the heck he wants, if Mayor Clark wants to give away or acquire any land, whatever he wants, they always vote yes. They never vote no. That's why I call him the alder yes man. So he tried to say that to try to make it look like, well, I'm not responsible. The city council votes on what happens with the property. See? Yeah. Don't buy it. BS. Glinda says, what criteria are used to sell the property? And then the mayor, again, another BS no answer. All the criteria are online. If someone wants to buy, why wouldn't we sell? And then I wanted to ask right there and then, and I should have just called out because I get so pissed. And I said, really interesting, Mr. Mayor, because not that long ago, I brought 2 investors and they're local. They're a couple in Homewood, and they were interested in buying and fixing up with their own private money 3 buildings across from City Hall. And you ignored them and me, us, for months. Then you finally met with them and told them basically how horrible I was and that I didn't know anything I was talking about and that they shouldn't work with me. And then you just ignored them again and instead pushed to demolish the 3 buildings. So he lies through his teeth. If someone wants to buy, why wouldn't we sell? I don't know, Clark. Why wouldn't you? Why would you prefer to demolish historic properties when I brought investors that were willing to put their own money, and they're local people that actually wanted to make downtown Harvey look better, maybe put in a cute cafe or something, or a restaurant, have some nice rentals in these old buildings, and you chose to demolish them instead. What is your effing problem? Like, you've got to be totally unhinged. Like, what sort of schemes are you trying to pull off with these properties? But he totally lied through his teeth there. Colby says only 84 properties are online right now. I thought that there were more, but anyway, she said they're online, but that was a non-answer about criteria online. Okay, kind of, yeah, but it still doesn't explain how you and your alder yes men decide who gets what property, because you're not fair about it. And you're not holding up to you're not keeping your campaign promises about that. And then my neighbor asks, okay, so let's skip around a little bit more.
In the city of Harvey, when does the process begin to take place?
Okay, so again, I'm going to save you all time. Then my neighbor on my block, she said, well, what are you doing with these vacant properties that are owned by the city? Are you putting liens on them? Like, what's happening? Are they getting tickets? Because you sure as hell ticket the rest of us. And then Clark says, oh, well, so many of the homes are zombie homes. They're in legal limbo. It takes money and time. And, we're so in debt. Oh, my name is Christopher Clark, and that's my excuse for everything. We're so in debt. Oh, I couldn't do anything because it's all Mayor Kellogg's fault. Well, really? As far as we know, we could have a huge freaking surplus because you don't open the books. We don't know where the money's going, Mayor Clark. Why don't you open the books? And that's why we got to keep fighting for what we're fighting for. Sad part about this meeting, we did not address the crime fully. Nope. Yeah, exactly. A lot of distractions. That's another point I wanted to bring up. So you laid off a whole bunch of officers, Mayor Clark. So why did you why was one of our animal control officers laid off? You lied to us in that meeting where you said that you were going to have 2 animal control officers. One of them has been working security in front of 2 homes that you don't even live in. And the other one was let go by the city, was fired. So now we have no animal control officers again. After that woman lost her freaking foot? They lie. How did you lay off a whole bunch of people? Who was laid off and what positions were laid off? Because in the police department, we know you fired a whole bunch of union officers ahead of the non-union ones, and you didn't do it according to seniority. So now the union is pissed and they're going after the city. See, this is what Clark doesn't tell you. Another thing I wanted to ask about, why don't we have walking patrols like we used to have, right? Why don't we get the cops out on the street to get to know people? Right now, because Mayor Clark sends the police with people like Jedediah and his goons around to harass and ticket people and extort businesses. That destroys trust, Mayor Clark. Who is going to trust you and your police, really our police, but the police, to fix and help with any crime when people don't even want to talk to you because they're like, oh, well, what civil right are you going to violate today? Or what sort of bogus fine are you going to violate today? Remember, like the guy interviewed, he said, I got pulled over for a headlight out and then they end up towing my car and I have to pay like $1,000 to get it out. Who's going to want to work with those people? And then the mayor has the nerve to say, well, why aren't we on the South Suburban Major Crimes Task Force? I don't know. Maybe because you use the people the police to extort people and harass people and violate their civil rights. Maybe that might be a reason. And then, okay, so yeah, the mayor just said more excuses. And then bless his heart, because the elderly gentleman comes up and asks another question. Wait.
On that agenda or on that email or however it goes to the clerk so that we can present that as an agenda item.
Oh, okay, that was good. Yeah. Okay, so before we get to that, so then that older gentleman, bless his heart, it was so, he said, why is it so hard to buy city properties from you? And the mayor didn't have an answer. You know what his freaking answer was? We must follow the law. Follow the freaking law. Then, so the law says you should sell and give properties to your campaign donors and your buddies that don't even live in Harvey, and that you should ignore regular citizens like this elderly gentleman who come. I see him. He and his wife, they come to meetings. They actually care. They don't want to talk about crime. Yep, crime pays in Harvey. Yep, it sure does for Clark and his and Jed and all of his gang. You know, there's no crime in Harvey where you get this. There's no crime in Harvey. Where do you get this idea? Right, that's what he wants you to think. By intimidating the residents, they're selecting who's going to go vote. Yeah, thank you, French. You actually understand that, because in a lot of these communities, and it's not just Harvey, people say, "Well, it's your fault." They voter shame. You know, well, it's your fault, you fucking idiots. Why did you vote for these people? Well, you know, you see the things that they do to intimidate people. We're just trying to live and have our businesses and have our lives function day to day. Don't you think that intimidation also carries over into election time and voting? And it even affects who can run. They intimidate and they scare people off from even running who might be good alternatives. So that's why everybody needs to fight, like that rabbi said, and it's got to be a fight we all do together. We can't wait for the politicians. But bless his heart, I forget his name, but he said, why is it so hard to buy city properties from you? That's what I want to know. Because Clark promised in 2019 when he ran, he promised that he would make it very easy. Then Delaney says, well, you know, I want cops to live in Harvey, but it's really hard to do a residency requirement. And then Colby steps in, and I'm like, go Colby. She said, oh, I support that. Well, since Delaney's the head of the committee, why doesn't she introduce that? And that's what she was saying a little bit.
And then we need a 2/3 vote, which would be a majority, 4 out of the 6, hopefully 6 out of the 6. I'm telling you all now that we support having police officers from City of Harvey live here. Because one thing we know, you're going to protect where you lay your head. And I'm here.
Right? And Colby made a great argument for it, and I totally agree. I want residency requirements for all Harvey City employees. And Trina, you guys should have them in Dalton. I think every town should do that. We pay huge amounts of money for salaries and pensions for our employees. The least they can do is live there. Especially, you know, what's really bad here is that our taxes are very high, and a lot of our village and city positions pay a lot. And then we get a lot of moochers who live in Indiana because we're close to Indiana. So they live in Indiana, whereas if they were a city worker, police, fire, whatever in Indiana, they'd be making crap, okay? They'd be making a very low salary. So they want to work, let's say they used to live in Harvey, they want to work in Harvey, make the big fat Illinois public salaries, and then they go back to Indiana where their taxes are low and they pay their city, you know, workers and their first responders, you know, very, very modestly. So all that money is drained out of our communities. That happens everywhere near the border, especially. So Dalton, that happens, Dalton, Lansing, Calumet City, Riverdale, Harvey. It's very, very common, and it's infuriating. We should all have residency requirements for employees. And you know what? If you don't like the town that much that you can't find one place in these towns to live, then go work in Indiana. And instead of making $75,000 as a firefighter, you're only going to make $35,000. And you know what? good luck. Then go enjoy that. And then maybe you can vote to increase your taxes there. And so then your firefighters can make more. But that pisses me off so much. Trina, I thought for sure you'd be chiming in about that. So Colby, as she should, puts it back on Delaney and says, I support it. I'd love our police to live here. Why don't you introduce that legislation, Delaney? And then the mayor chimes in and says, well, we're already working on residency requirements, but it's hard to do. There's so many things, and the union doesn't like it. No, you idiot. The union doesn't like it. The union hates you because you lost a lawsuit, first of all, because years ago, you tried to strip union status from your supervisors in the police department and to demote a whole bunch of them to patrol officers. And basically, Clark's been trying to break the police union for years now. And then they just did more things where, like I said, they let union people go ahead of non-union. Of course, the union doesn't like you because you're horrible to them, the police and the fire union. Yay, it finally came back clear. Now, see, this is what I saw when I was filming. That's what I saw when I was filming. Then Diana asked this question. So what about an amnesty program for all the excessive fines and fees? Great question. And then Clark basically didn't really have, no, I don't think anybody really had an answer for that question. That was a good question. I think it's smart. Okay, and then Leroy speaks. That's Jed. See, now you can see Jed, Wyoming, and that I think that's Raheem, the guy with the do-rag on. Oh, who's she? She's filming back here too. I don't know who she is. I thought that was Korean, but maybe not. So Leroy reminded people about using the transfer on death tool for your property. So if you die, it doesn't, your house doesn't stay in probate. And then she said she complimented the police for some of their work on 154th, which I think was way nicer than she needed to be because, yeah, I'm sure that they do some good sometimes, but most of the time I think they're up to no good. And then she said, why do we have two cars that are constantly cruising downtown who appear to be looking to kidnap children? I don't have an answer for that, but I do know that, very often where the police are, they're sitting in front of the mayor's house. They're harassing Hassan. They're coming after me. They're accompanying Jed as he performs alleged illegal evictions. That's what our police do. Another question I wanted to ask was, why are the police cameras sitting by the two homes, Mayor, that you own but you don't live in? Why aren't they at the hot spots? Why weren't they at 145th and Des Plaines, or the other hot spots like where that gang was interviewed by 157th and Marshfield? That's right by your house, but it wouldn't be covered by where the cameras are sitting right behind your homes by 157th and Page. Why don't they put the cameras there? No. The cameras are sitting, let's see, I think there's still one by the mayor's homes that he doesn't live in. And then the other camera is spying on Hassan's properties where they barely have any crime because, his properties, well, they were all fenced in until Jedediah came and ripped out a whole bunch of fences that he shouldn't have. But anyway, so I wanted to ask that. And then I said again, why are you wasting our police resources? You're sending your officers around to follow and harass the mayor, your critics, Mr. Mayor. Why aren't they actually going after people that are committing the crimes? And also, why aren't they just, like I said, just do walking patrols? Like if you do community policing right, police they should spend the vast majority of their time getting to know people, period, on foot, whenever possible. And also just through building relationships with people that they know are repeat offenders, or they know they're in trouble, or they know they're probably going to get in trouble, build relationships and do what the other groups that were there, Activists and Roseland Ceasefire, they said that, they try to get people connected that are doing the violence or that have potential to be involved in violence. They want to get them connected to resources so that they don't resort to violence, right? So that's what our police should be doing. But no, they're going around town harassing people that the mayor doesn't like. Like, is this fucking junior high? Or are you trying to fucking run a town? It's grade 8. Exactly, Diana. No one had an answer for your question, you know? So it's like, well, why are you in your job? Resign now, Clark and the 4 Alder yes men. Don't defund the police, just defund the chief and get. Yeah, the chief needs to go. The problem is, though, the mayor basically is the police chief, and he's not supposed to be, but he fired several chiefs before Biddings. Now, once he found Biddings, he's cool with Biddings because Biddings just does whatever Clark wants, but Clark is really the police chief. Hey, Doodlebug, share your back. How does he have police cameras and the city still doesn't have streetlights and sir? Good question. Shut your water off. Ceasefire rings my bell almost every month. Okay. Do you feel that they help, Diana? Okay, you guys. So we went over that. I'm sorry. I promised I'd make this short because really, I can summarize a lot here. Okay, and then the police chief responds. He doesn't say much. You know what he basically says? Oops. The police chief basically said, oh, yeah, you know, we do stings for prostitutes like we did one the other month, you know, to get the prostitutes and the Johns. And like, okay. And I really do hope that they're actually using that program where they're helping them. Again, don't criminalize people. Don't criminalize either people paying for sex or doing sex work. Most likely they're just trying to survive, or, you know, in the case of the people that are paying, you know, get some sort of need met. But, you know, I don't think throwing them in jail and paying tens of thousands to jail these people is a good answer, right? They probably need a different reliable way to make money, you know, or other, you know, different safer ways of getting sex, you know. So I do believe that the police chief mentioned that they're supposed to be using this program that actually helps the sex workers, you know, to make sure that they have a way of surviving without having to sell, without having to do sex work. So I hope that they're doing that, because otherwise, you know, in the past, what they would do, unfortunately, they would just arrest these people over and over, and that doesn't help them at all. Then Jedediah comes on and really has nothing good to say. He basically says, why is the tax collection rate so low? Let's see.
Use with them. But once the ODs,
that's great. So we're getting $30 million. Why is this like this, and what is the solution? Because we have a lot of businesses in Harvey that's not paying tax.
So again, has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Okay, so skip that. So this is Latrell Baker with no, wrong. This is Latrell Baker with Ceasefire. He talks that he mentions they have services for victims of gun violence, and I believe they try to help prevent violence, just like James Yates with Activist does. And James speaks, I think this is James, right? Yeah, this is James Yates right here. So he's with Activist. So they have the tan shirts on. Ceasefire has the orange shirts on. And he talks about how, you know, we're trying to reach out to those who are active in violence and get them engaged with services and activities that are positive. Great. Totally support it 100%. That's what our police should be doing. Our police should not be harassing political opponents or people that the mayor personally doesn't like. Like, it's not only illegal, it's unethical, it's a waste of resources, it's horrible in every way. Diana, glad you're okay. I had a mama moment, thought that was you at the end. I know, Diana, once I'm done with this, yeah, you're gonna have to tell us what happened with you and Jed, because I was nervous too. I was like, wait, what's going on? Ceasefire is trying. They're the only ones that come to the door. Good. I give them credit. They've come to my door too. They have, you know. Knock on wood, we don't have as many shootings by me. You know, I will hear people shooting, but I don't think it's like people getting shot. You know, occasionally I'll hear gunshots. Task, treatment alternatives for safer communities. Thank you. Is that what they do for the sex workers? Right. Yeah. Because remember, it's mostly ladies. Sometimes it's men too, but they're not, we don't want to, the answer is not to criminalize these people. They're just trying to survive. Right. So the answer is we want to get to make sure they have alternatives so that they know they don't have to just do sex work. They have other ways of surviving. Hey, Ryan in chat, do you think Clark has promised Jed properties in exchange for his services? Very possible. Jed has mentioned that several times. He has mentioned getting Harvey properties, including or properties in Harvey, even if they're not owned by the city, like that one on 147th that was the auto zone. Totally ironic that this meeting was supposed to be about crime and public safety, yet an alleged criminal is allowed to speak 3 times while citizens are not. Jed ran his mouth, and he, like, I have a stalking no contact order against him, and I wasn't allowed to, like, he doesn't even live there. I live there. So that's where, like I said, it just, the meeting needed better moderation. Like, he shouldn't have either not been allowed to speak at all, or just, it should have been limited. Like, okay, you said your one thing. Now we're going to move on to someone who has not spoken. Tracy, thank you, Tracy. Hey, Paul, the tax collection rate is so low since hardly anyone can afford to pay the taxes, and many of those who can know how much of their taxes go to politicians and other opportunists working against us. Right, exactly. And that's another reason why Diana mentioned, like, not only getting rid of the corruption, but why she mentioned amnesty. Because let's just say tomorrow, like, if I were mayor, or Colby was mayor, or, someone like Paul Roberts was mayor, and we had, like, great, Diana's an alderman, and I don't know who else, I don't know, maybe Chappelle's elected, but basically people that they're gonna do at least a decent job, and they're gonna be honest. Like, that would be great. But I think the amnesty thing is still a great point, because you're still gonna have people that are gonna owe so much money. It's like, how do we help them? Do you notice the mayor never talks about helping the businesses that owe taxes? It's always about punishing. It's their fault. It's their fault. Meanwhile, he doesn't open the books. And at the end of the day, we should be helping them, right? Don't we want them to stay? Don't we want businesses in Harvey? Like, why would anyone even come to your town to open up a business when they hear that you're harassing and trying to publicly castigate businesses that are already there? I mean, it's freaking crazy. It's just, it doesn't make any sense. That's why we know they have to be up to no good. Jed's getting property. He did seem obsessed with property there. He's mentioned it. Yeah, right. He's mentioned it. Unprompted by anyone. Cincinnati is paying an activist to antagonize police under the guise of consultant to the city. $8,400 a month. Her modus operandi is exactly what's happening with Jed. Wonder if he's paid. Oh, wait, Cincinnati? Wait, to antagonize the police? That's interesting. I'd like to know more about that. Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah, thank you guys. I'm so glad. So we talked about the 2 groups, Ceasefire and Activists. They're trying to reach out. And then
Other individuals who are involved in violence.
So that's the gentleman from Activist. And I believe these guys came from Activist. And I know this poor guy here, I was trying not to crack up, because I swear I heard him like 2 times. He was like, oh, this is a waste of time. Why'd I even come? You can see through the BS right away. Trina, he was like your soul. He's like your soul brother, okay? Because he just couldn't not say it. I was like, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm so sorry. You got to sit through this. Okay, and then this is Melville. Melville lives in Tyrone Rogers' ward, okay? Tyrone's the one with the silver hair that has the multiple accusations of sexual crimes against him. But then he laughed when they defame and slander me and say that I have done those things. Google Cincinnati activist paid as consultant. Okay, very interesting. I'll have to look that up. So Melville says, why don't we have the community policing class? Why are we not having better communication, basically, between the city and the residents? Then the rabbi, I think he was my favorite speaker tonight. He speaks. Let's see if we can hear him. Basically, he says, nope, we're screwed. If we rely on these guys, we have to do everything ourselves.
Problem that's here, so we can't just use the zip code and say, oh, it's their problem, well, I'm not involved. I'm here to serve and help you all, like I'm in Chicago. I also want to say here, when it comes to, I heard a question about someone saying before I came in, what can you do about this problem? I'm an advocate for the streets, meaning I take to the streets. I go on the streets and walk the streets, they see a vision. I don't wait for the police, because here's the thing I believe.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. He needed a mic. He needed a mic. But basically he says, don't wait for the police. We can't wait for the police. We can't wait for these politicians. People are asking, well, what are you going to do? Or what have you done? He's like, well, what they already admitted that with the groups involved with the mass shootings, the police admitted during the press conference that they knew about these people for years. And it was funny because I think they were trying to make it seem like, oh, the violence isn't so bad. The crime's not so bad in Harvey. You know, it's because it's not random, right? It's like, oh, no, we knew about these people for years. But they ended up telling on themselves. And we're all like, you've known about them for years. Like, well, what were you doing? Were you trying to help them so they could make a living outside of the gang, so that they could actually have an existence that was, you know, relatively peaceful and prosperous without having to, you know, sell drugs or who knows, whatever they're up to that is ultimately leading to the violence, right? And the rivalries? No, but they knew about them. They've known about him for years, so don't worry. It's nothing random. Harvey's still safe. Like, how is that supposed to make us feel safe? Get the F out of here. He says, don't wait for the police. Let's police ourselves. We are the police. We should be the police, and I totally agree with him. And then this is where it goes off the rails, in my opinion. Then Delaney is allowed to respond, and I don't think she should have been allowed to speak. Because she talks too much as it is in the other meetings, because Clark always lets her talk and nobody else.
We do need to do something about this, sir. So if you have the solution, you have the answer.
Oh, I'm sorry. The police chief says, yeah, if you have the answers, you know, please let me know.
Problem that's plagued our cities and other cities, including the city of Chicago.
Oh, other cities have violence too. Yeah, but do they have this level of corruption? Are you the chief of police in those cities? No, let's keep it about Harvey, please. Let's keep on task. These people, everybody needs a freaking good moderator. Like, I swear to God, I really just want it to be hard on everybody and be like, no, stick to the point.
You sat down at press conference and said you knew about that gun violence the whole time. You sat there on that press conference and said you knew about that murder. Don't shoot me.
See, that's what I said too. He said the police said at the press conference that you guys knew about this rivalry for years and you did nothing. You didn't care.
You knew about it and didn't do it. You need to resign, sir. You need to step down. You need to step down. When you have that baby shot down like that, and you know about it and do nothing about it, man, you need to step down as well too.
Now, this is where Tracy was being, I know he's probably trying to be diplomatic, but he was being way too nice. Those are the voices that we need to hear. And I appreciate what the rabbi was saying, and I agree. He said, you need to step down, so I clapped. And the mayor needs to step down too. Exactly. They all need to resign. And Tracy was trying to be diplomatic, but like I said, they didn't need that, because every city council meeting, they get the priority to say whatever they want, right? We need more meetings like this where other people get a chance and are not bullied or silenced. And that's what we didn't get enough of. And I think that's what, you know, I'd like to see different for the next meeting, you know, but definitely, I mean, it's a good start. It's better than nothing, right? I mean, at least we had a meeting that was different. Okay, let me catch up with comments here. She said they knew right away about this family's feuding. Right, exactly. Can the victim sue the police if the police knew? I think it'd be great. Why didn't you get to speak? Because, like I said, I think Tracy was trying to be diplomatic, but he shouldn't have been so diplomatic, because they never let any of us speak during the normal meetings. And so Tracy ended up giving my time, or like other people's potential time, to like Delaney Smith and the mayor. You know, it's like they didn't need to. No, they talk all the time. We don't get to talk. Harvey's so tiny. How freaking hard is it to police? It's not. That's why I don't believe his BS about we don't have enough money or resources. Really? We'll open the books. Let us determine that. Yes, Wyoming. I think they can be in big trouble. I think so. I'm being petty, but I want to slap tie-dye lady through my phone. Oh, are you talking about Delaney? If your police officers are busy fighting the crime, they won't have time to protect the mayor and his interests. See, friend, all the way from Quebec, it doesn't matter how far away you are, you can see through the BS. I love it. Yep, you nailed it. Absolutely.
I'll panic to politics. I'll call it the way it is.
And he said, I call it the way it is. And I appreciate that from the rabbi. That's where we should have been allowed to speak more. You can see Glennis had her hand up. I had my hand up. And this is where I think maybe hopefully next time, more priority will be given to the residents instead of going back to the people that always flap their jaws.
Those children shot murder, man.
No, this is allowing people freedom of speech, and all the others that you're out of order. You're out of order.
You do not have the right to say anything.
And then again, Colby and Tracy were trying to bring order, but I think at the end of the day, they needed a microphone, okay? And Colby did eventually get one, thank God. But they needed to just talk and just ignore the people like Delaney and the mayor. Because at the end of the day, they weren't going to listen anyway. They were glad to, because remember, the mayor gave this artificial limit of 8 o'clock. Like, who the fuck cares? I've been at town meetings where it goes hours and hours and hours because they go until they're done. When we have our city council meetings, the mayor he doesn't time it. He'll sit there and put everybody to sleep. He needs to. He needs. Oh.
Why are you telling me to start? Why did you say this is my meeting? You see how this works?
Attention, everyone. Let's hold up. Let's stop all this. Let's stop all this. Alderwoman Delaney Smith, just out of respect. Okay. Can we just give you this 6:46? Can we give you 3-4 minutes when you can talk and explain? It's only
So then Tracy gives Delaney a few minutes to talk, and she just wastes the time away. This is what we call in sports, if you're a sports player, right? Winding down the clock. So they're very happy to just blah 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 blah.
We all know she's talking. So again, what I'm saying is there's another child that got shot maybe about a month ago.
Okay, and then she doesn't really say much of anything. Okay, I'm just gonna skip. So blah 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 blah.
It's a congressperson issue, and a lot of these people are running for office right now.
Okay, so Delaney basically said, well, where were you when this child was killed? You were disrespectful, Rabbi, and you need to, you shouldn't talk to people like that, blah, 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 blah. She was very rude to the rabbi. And then I forget, does the mayor talk or Jed? At some point, though, they let Jed talk again. He says, well, my question was never answered about the unpaid taxes. And the mayor says, we need tax money. Oh, we're fighting over nothing because we don't have anything anyway. We don't have any. And that's when I wanted to say, we don't know what we have, Mr. Mayor, because you have a lockdown on the city books. Even our elected treasurer doesn't know where the money is or what we have. Why don't you let us see, and then we'll decide for ourselves how much in debt we are and how much money we have and how much money we don't. Stop telling us lies. And then I talked about the Broadway property, so I wanted to say that. And just in general, I wanted to say whether it's money or police staffing or whatever, we don't know what you do. You don't tell us about staffing, about where money goes, about how resources are allocated. We have to constantly play detective to find anything out, and send FOIAs. So start with transparency. And then when people give you feedback and say, like, this is horrible, then change it. So, it's simple stuff, right? But I agree with the rabbi. They're not going to change. We're going to have to do it ourselves. And then my final point was I just wanted to say, Mayor, and general politicians, Delaney and the mayor, why would anybody want to work with any of you or trust any of you? Because you guys don't follow the rules. You don't even do the stuff that you're telling us to do. And then you want to fine us and ticket us and harass us when we haven't done anything wrong at all. So all this extortion and the lying and everything, it just destroys community trust. I think those are the main things that I wanted to say. That was about it, I think, for the meeting, too. Let's see. And the mayor.
Gives the impression that we're not doing anything at all.
Yeah, so he just says a whole bunch of BS again. And then Colby ended it, and what did she say?
But we've yet today not learned how much money we've collected in the revenue department. For the past 2 meetings,
Right.
you all pay $20,000 a month to the comptroller, Lewis Williams. Getting still for the past 2 meetings.
And Colby raised a really good point here.
For to be given, unfortunately.
And the mayor was so rude, interrupted her in her it's their committee meeting, not his, and says like, that's not true, that's not true. And then Colby mentions correctly, she says, okay, so what about this company? I forget the name of the company, but it's a company name, all right, in the bills list, but it's owned by the comptroller, Lewis Williams, who's also comptroller under Kellogg, the same guy that Mayor Clark assured all of his supporters when he was running for his first term that he would fire the guy. So why is he still around? You know, it's like Robert Hunt, right? Why is Robert Hunt still around? Similar questions. So Colby's saying that, and he's like, that's not true. Well, even if it was only one payment, like who the hell makes $20,000 in 1 month from being a comptroller or from doing accounting for a city that's supposedly broke, according to the mayor?
That bill on this month. That's the second thing. The settlement agreement came just $12,000. Remember, I got before. So I'm gonna talk and keep letting y'all know where your money is going.
And then I don't know if you noticed it, but then Delaney starts shouting, and they're just trying to distract. And then the police officer, I'm blanking on his name, but who usually mans the door, you can tell he's sort of motioning or gesturing to the mayor. I'm imagining something like, hey, you want me to turn out the lights, you know, because we're trying to push them out anyway, right? It's time to go. It's time to go. They're all such idiots and rude. What's done in the dark will get their ass kicked in the light. I hope so. How many victims can afford to sue the police? The city has more expensive attorneys than residents can afford. Correct. Yep. That's why they're poverty pimps. You notice they don't pull this stuff as much. They do, but they don't pull it as much in like a Hinsdale or a Wilmette or a LaGrange, right? They pull it in the poor communities because they're like, well, we got taxpayer funded best lawyers that taxpayer money can buy on our side. What do these poor residents have? Nothing. There always seems to be an activist around. There's police corruption, except in Harvey. Yeah. We have the con man activist filing complaints on individual officers when they do not do their job correctly and mailing those complaints to the union. Oh, okay. I don't know if the union will do anything, but yes, we are trying to file complaints. That you are very correct about that. I really don't like Smith. She's not. Yeah, she was very rude. Very, very rude. There's an activist in Harvey. Yeah. Who was arguing? So it was Delaney, Jed, the mayor, I think Tracy. Yeah, so it was just very chaotic. There are legit legal organizations that do pro bono work. Yes, there are. Unfortunately, it's not always easy to find them. Please, deontology. I forget what that word means. You have to remind me. Oh, Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard's back, aka one of Jed's buddies. This person in the chat is a third party that was also in the Zoom court sessions a couple of weeks ago. Please screenshot this for the court. I will. Thank you. That's a great idea. I love that. Mm-hmm. Was that the person saying like the Trina didn't pay her water bill or something? Maybe that was Super Mayor Tiffany. Yeah, because I remember waiting in court. Who's Colby going back and forth with in the audience? I believe that was Jed. You goofy too, Scott. You have no idea what you're talking about. Interesting. Okay, well, I'll screenshot that too. One of the Jed fanatics. Henyard, look behind you. Remember, kids, Zoom court chat participations are public record. Yes, thank you. That's a great point. All right. I think we're about done. Jed, clearly Wyoming. You see Jed right here, and then I believe this is Raheem. This is another police officer they brought in again. But what the fuck are they doing? They're not doing their job. If they were doing their job, Jed has violated my earth protection so many times. I have 3 police reports for him, that say that he violated it. And Harvey Police just lets him cause chaos continually. Oh, and yep, and that's when the cop turns the lights off.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go. Let's clear the room.
So why did your niece assault and batter me?
Oh, so this is, wait, I want to do a little bit of Delaney. They just want chaos, you guys. That's what they do.
Why did not I should anybody?
Oh, wait, listen, this is what I shouted.
Harvey cops don't follow the rules. Why should anybody else? Harvey cops don't follow the rules. Why should anybody follow the rules? Harvey cops don't follow the rules. Delaney Smith's niece attacked me. She's a criminal right there. There's a criminal. They're all sitting up there. That's why we have all the problems we have. Why did your niece attack me, Delaney Smith? Why didn't you answer that?
The alleged criminals are sitting in those seats. Delaney Smith, Mayor Clark, the police chief. It's like that's why the city is not moving forward.
Alderwoman Smith, you don't have an answer, do you?
And she doesn't have anything to say because she knows that she was there the night of July 14th when the mob action was against Amir and his daughter and Beth. And then as I was covering it, that she was there with her niece and I guess her niece is her bodyguard or something, but more than likely sent her after, to assault and batter me because the niece didn't want to get on get it on camera that they were at the scene of that. Because really they had no business being there and speaking intimately with the police the night of that. Like, what did that have to do with them? Well, they're associates of the mayor and of Jed, right? So
Still have not arrested that man for violating my order. Are you going to do your job and arrest him?
Yeah, we did. Now notice how they have everything to say to me, but nothing to Jed. They just let Jed argue with Colby's mom, just cause all sorts of chaos, harass people.
That man for violating that order of protection that I have?
He has nothing to say.
So you're not going to follow the law and do your job? So why did your niece assault him back?
So I couldn't understand everything she was saying, but she was saying something like, so you were a coward and you didn't do it. It's like, what?
Batter me, Delaney Smith.
Come on.
So you don't have any answers?
Let's go.
You don't have any
Let's
answers?
go.
No. Go arrest the criminal, Jedediah Brown. I'm not a criminal. He violated the order of
Let's
protection.
go. Let's go.
Don't come after me. Go get him.
Coming at. Let's go. Come on. Come out the door. Let's go. Come out the door. Let's go.
No. I am not the criminal. He's violating the order of protection, and you aren't doing your fucking job. How dare you get it? How dare you, Sergeant? You are not following the law.
He asked you to leave.
So you're refusing not to? Everybody here is my witness. Hey, everybody, put your eyes on this right now.
And they didn't. They were too distracted in their other conversations. I'm like, come on, you guys. Like, it's right in front of us. Like, literally, that is the answer for why does Harvey have the problems? I mean, it was right. They can't even arrest someone who has all these violations of a stalking no contact order. It's like literally right in front of our eyes. They don't enforce the law. So why do we even have the whole freaking meeting? I mean, that's why I wanted everybody to pay attention. If you just saw how they treated Jed this man who consistently harasses people, and several people have these stalking no contact orders against him because he's so horrible. He and his rabid followers, like that explains everything. You don't even need to see the rest of the meeting. If you just see how they allow someone like Jedediah and his minions to just freely harass people and cause chaos and I mean, that's your answer right there. They protect the criminals. That's why Harvey has the problems. This person in the chat is a third. Oh, okay, I got that ready. Sorry. What did I miss, you guys? Let me see. Is Beth here? Beth! Are other of your remedial friends on here? I love it, Cardis. What kind of activists can't even get the Detroit lawyer to file properly in Flint court? Oh, I didn't even know about that. Clark's just giddy with all the chaos since nobody's talking to him. Exactly. Correct. Hey, Beth. Brown told Clothier he found an attorney based out of Detroit that's willing to represent him, but she's been unable to file an appearance. Weird. All the cops in Harvey at a public safety meeting. Who's patrolling the streets? Right, exactly. And literally a criminal, someone who has repeatedly violated my stalking no contact order. I have 3 police reports saying that, 2 with the sheriff and 1 with Harvey police. And they don't care. They should be arresting him. That's all you need to see. Oh, that's why Harvey's screwed up, right? It's not about, the police aren't going to help us get any safety. It's about protecting a few connected people like the mayor. Let's see. Jack checked Colby, Chepin, and the rest, but he didn't check Rabbi. Oh, that's right. I heard that about the plea deal. Okay. Okay, interesting. I did not know that. Okay. Yeah, because I'm going to be in court on next Tuesday, the 19th, and then Amir and Hassan will be in court dealing with Jed and his gang on Thursday, the 21st. So that's good to know. Thank you for sharing that. But yeah, do you see? So that was Sergeant Patterson. Like, they just don't care about
that man is violating the order of protection, and Harvey police are letting him get away with it. So you don't care anything about the law.
There's Ramona.
Got it. Got it on camera. Got it on camera. You guys are my witnesses. How do you expect people to obey the laws when you guys don't? That's ridiculous. Why should anybody? Why don't you spend less time harassing us and more time on the streets?
Mm-hmm. Those are all valid
Why did you go
questions.
get Jedediah and stop harassing me? I'm on public property that I pay for. Go get him. Go arrest Jedediah. Do your job. Do your job. First, they're not going.
What do you think? You think they did?
Go arrest Jedediah.
Look, watch them.
Go. This is ridiculous. How many times is he going to violate my order and you guys don't do anything? Multiple violations. Nothing at all.
So I got totally ignored. Not going to do anything about it.
Others. Why don't you guys go arrest Jedediah?
Now watch, and then they walk away.
That's the 3rd time you guys have not arrested Jedediah. The law says you're supposed to arrest him for violating my order. Why are you standing here? That's the 3rd time on camera. Bye, Glenn. Sorry you didn't get to ask more of your questions.
There was no, but he cut it off. Nope. They're just hanging around. They get paid,
but they don't.
Money and then I think I showed the police car. Look at the police car. Oops.
In order like that, but they.
Look at that. Oh, by the way, and this whole thing's happening, just so you guys know, while this whole thing's happening, well, when I drive back around, you'll see it, but Jedediah is on the other side of the building, and that's going to bring me to, I'm hoping Diana will share. If you're still with us, Diana, you can tell us what you guys were, how that went, and hopefully you were okay. I think I said everything else I wanted to ask. I said extortion destroys trust. The police are breaking the law. We need transparency. Listen to feedback. Yeah, so those are a lot of the comments that I wanted to make. Yeah, that was most everything. I think I showed you guys those flyers. All right, what did I miss here? Let's see. Aw. Oh no, Beth, an asthma attack. I hope you're okay. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Sending you love, Beth. Sending you love. Oh, and look, we've got more harassers. Bella Marie is, and so we'll be. Yeah, at least your family's helping you, Beth. Though that's good. That's good. Good. Excellent. But yeah, so I'm gonna keep playing, and then you'll see, like I said, so Harvey police are totally useless. They need to be arresting Jeb, but no, they're not.
I was gonna say, just don't.
Oh, you got him with you?
Yeah, I'm gonna drop him off, but don't leave positions that they don't follow the rules themselves. So what's the purpose of anybody else doing it?
Yep.
Wait, is this Jedediah? Oh my god. No, I can't dwell on it, you guys, but there's Jedediah and his guy.
So third time, he should have been arrested. Nope. Just letting him chill out in front of City Hall.
You see?
Did you guys see that when
There was another person.
I'll rewind a little bit for you.
Just drop it in. Just how are we supposed to trust of anybody else? Wait, is this Jedediah? Oh my god.
I still can't believe
I can't dwell on it, you guys, but there's Jedediah
police
and
are
his guy.
useless.
You see?
Just hanging out in front of City Hall.
There. Oh, there he is. Totally no consequences, just standing there talking. I do.
I mean, it's like, hey, if you're a criminal, come to Harvey
Saturday.
and you can do whatever you want. So that was basically it, though, you guys. That was it. Yeah. Thanks for hanging, for hanging around for that. Let me see. Oh, yeah, Beth, I'm sure you were scared. Be careful. Yeah, don't play around with asthma. That's for sure. Looks like more high school dropouts are here. Yep. Yep. It's okay. I love it. Thanks, you guys. You're helping me build my case, I guess, in that respect. Although I have formally asked you several times to leave me alone and leave my chat on my live. That's my fear too, friend. Yep. They're going to wait for something very bad to happen before arresting this, Jedediah, because, the night of the 14th, that could have been much worse. There could have been guns. People could have been shot. Thank God there weren't. Can I get the Mickey Mouse hats for my niece? Right. Exactly. It's just, and, sometimes I try to laugh just to try not to go crazy because they are so crazy. But but it's just for the stress, because it really is very serious, so if I laugh, it's just it's just stress relief, because it's very serious and people could die, because of behavior like this. It's very, very, very dangerous. So that's why it's, like I said, the authorities got to do their job, and that's why we have so many problems in Harvey, because you can see they don't. I mean, they can't even do the basic enforcement of stalking no contact order. Why would they go after murderers? It's already bad. Yep. Yeah, because remember, Hassan was beat up, and Hassan said that he was afraid he was going to get shot too, but he managed to get away before that happened. And then Amir and his daughter were both injured. And Amir has his shattered eye socket, and his finger was dislocated, besides other issues. So, oh, Diana, you still here? Are you still here? You're still here? Did you want to tell us? I just wanted to make sure you were okay, and I didn't know what was happening with you in the front of the building. All right, let me see here. Got it. Okay, cool. All right, guys, I think that's it for now, unless anybody else has anything else. Wait, what is this? Hold on one second here. Whoop, gotta plug in the phone. Oh my God. Okay, let's see here. Oh goodness, we got some more horrible things to screenshot here. We have people could die. Stop asking on here. Yeah. Oh, Bella, that's great. What an insensitive thing to say to someone who just lost their a spouse. That's why you guys are so horrible with how you harass people. Yeah, there you go. See, there's your harassment for you right there. Yep. Trying to spread the pedophile defamation again. Yeah. Stay together against the terrorist. I agree, French. Absolutely. You tell her, Beth. You're so forgettable. Love it. Okay, guys. Anybody have anything else? I think that's it for now. Gardis, I definitely want to pick your brain before next week's meeting, township meeting, for sure. But otherwise, thank you for joining. I have my notes from that. I told you guys about Aclovis, about the resale shop, about everything else, right? Did I forget anything? Or did anybody want to add anything else? Okay. Yeah. Oh, check out the Cincinnati thing. I'm so curious about that. I should do that. I should definitely do that. Maybe I'll do that actually before we leave. So hold on one second. Oh yeah, real rude and not classy, Bella Marie. Oh yes, Paul. Likewise, I can't wait. Yeah, I would love to pick your brain and Gardis's brain before next week's meeting for sure. Absolutely. I'm hoping. Gardis, after you were a rock star with your comments last time, you have to make it on Tuesday. You definitely do. Oh, that's nice. Do you see Paul share says, Paul, tell Jennifer I said hi. I hope you both are well. Yeah. Jennifer did an excellent job with her comments as well. But I was just blown away because Gardis, I think, had not one, but like two, right? Yeah, two sets of like amazing comments. Yes, Paul, keep standing for truth. Hallelujah. I'm gonna Google this right now though before I leave you guys. Cincinnati activist. And see. Oh, I misspelled Cincinnati probably. Oh, 5 days ago on YouTube. But what? Sorry, for some reason this news page is loading very slowly. What the heck is going on with that? Why is that taking so long? So slow. Okay, never mind. Let's try a different site. Let's try a different site, shall we? Iris Rowley is the activist. Okay, August 9th, so it's recent. All right, this is local 12. Now, you guys, I don't know Cincinnati media, so forgive me, okay? Forgive me. I am not an expert on this. Sorry, let me find. Next township meeting, Jabbar, is next Tuesday. Why is this so slow? Whew, okay, now unfroze. Thanks, Beth and Cher. I'll let Jennifer know. I saw that, Gardis. Right, Black Butterfly. I really think people need to let Beth alone for real. Right, yeah. You know, normally I would just block them right away. The only reason I'm not is just because I like to. I'm trying to save it as evidence. But they're horrible, horrible, vicious bullies. You know, it's really horrible. They're horrible. I totally am with you. Okay. Oh. No, I don't want to sign in. I don't need to sign in with Google. Okay. All right, you guys, let me try this again. Try this again to reshare this. Hopefully the thing does not freeze up on me. And Beth asked, what was accomplished at the safety meeting? Unfortunately, not a ton, but it was better than not having any meeting. The problem was that the mayor and Jed and other people showed up to really try to derail it and waste time. And they were partially successful, but still, I'm glad that we had the meeting. I'm glad, Colby and Tracy did great given the challenges, because they were literally trying to derail the meeting the whole time. It was very best, but anyway. But yeah, but thank you for asking. Is it working? I thought I added it to the stage. It's so slow. I apologize. It's this app or what? Come on. It's so slow. Let me try to reload it. Okay, I'm back. I don't know what is up with StreamYard. Crazy. Okay, let's try this again. Gonna share screen. Okay, come on, StreamYard. You can do it. You can do it, StreamYard. Come on. Come on. There we go. Okay, now can you guys see? All right. So it says, the Cincinnati Fraternal Order of Police has launched a petition to remove Sultan, accusing her of harassing officers. The union's president hopes to gather 5,000 signatures to prompt city leaders to reconsider Rowley's position. Rowley, in response, has initiated her own petition to demonstrate her support within the community. The FOP's website, oops, can you guys still see? Okay, good. Okay, wow, okay, I just keep getting more evidence for court, Bella Marie. Supposedly their website shows video or something of Rowley harassing officers. In one video, body camera footage captures an officer asking a man to pour out his beer, with Rowley seen introducing herself to the officer and questioning the situation. The videos show Iris harassing officers as they are doing the job taxpayers expect them to do. That's not collaborating. That's agitating. Quite frankly, she could have been charged with disrupting official business. Thanks to actions of a professional CPD officer, the situation wasn't worse. Interesting. So she says, okay, so she's like being targeted for encouraging a community member to follow formal complaint procedures and questioning an officer's response. Okay, so I don't know. I really don't know, guys. But anyway, there you go. At least you can say that we saw it. We saw it. I just had to let the pup out. So thank you. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see, I guess, what happens there. I don't know which side has the facts, but it's always good to know about other things going on. Okay. And thanks, Beth. Keep telling the truth, Ryan. Junior high, yeah, exactly. Their behavior is like junior high kids. It's shameful. You know, I used to teach junior high. I taught junior high and high school, but the hormones are raging. They're very immature. They're just learning how to handle themselves, how to handle, the hormones and all the developing of their own independent personalities. And yeah, sometimes they can be great, but they can also be really nasty to each other. And that's exactly the sort of harassment that we are subject to. And you see that the authorities are not even protecting us, which is ridiculous. That's why we just have to take care of ourselves. So thank you guys for caring and doing what you do. Sheriff said Iris is paid as a consultant. Matt Walsh did a breakdown. Okay. Who's Matt Walsh? I don't know who that is. Okay. Oh, wow. And then Belmarie now is calling us all dick riders. Okay. It shows the lack of class and just horrible, crass, harassment that Jed's followers do. Matt Walsh on YouTube. Okay. Okay, cool. Well, no, I'm glad I looked that up, so, all right, guys. Otherwise, I think I'm good. Let me make sure that no one else was messaging me about something to say. Oh, there was a headline about the WNBA, but, I really don't follow sports, so I'm sorry. I'm not that interested in that, honestly. Otherwise, thanks everybody for joining. I'm so glad, Beth, that you're doing well. You have family support. You have me. You have others that care about you, and yeah, I can't wait to see you at more meetings and just at your own pace, obviously. But we got to keep pushing for the truth, you guys. Truth. Remember, the goals are: we want truth, transparency. We want our governments to reflect what the people actually want to see. So that's the whole reason we're doing what we're doing, because I believe, and I know many of you believe the same, that the people who are the most affected by decisions made should have a say in those decisions, right? So if you're affected by something, by decisions, or by important things that are decided, you should have a say in it. That's what we're fighting for here. And we have politicians, we have scammers, we have con men, we have all sorts of rich people who will bribe and lobby and do all sorts of things. And basically their goal is to take away your voice. Their goal is to take away my voice, to take away Beth's voice, to take away Wyoming's voice, Cher's voice, everybody. So we have to band together, like the rabbi said tonight, and we have to be the police. Let's do our own community policing. Let's be our own, cleanup crews. We may have to do that. We're probably going to have to, because in many cases, these politicians just don't care, and they want to silence our voices, and they don't want us to have a say in decisions that affect us. And that's not something I support. So we should have a say, right? You'll be supporting people next week. Oh, awesome. And great recap. Good. Yeah, Cher, I hope you found it helpful. Yes, I was trying to make it, easier. Otherwise, they just waste time saying stuff. That charm will get someone a lot of signatures for someone's petitions for a congressional seat. Oh, Lord. Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, you have a wonderful evening. Bonne nuit. Well, bonne soirée, I guess I would say to Wyoming, because that means in French, have a good evening. Like her evening is still going on. Bonne soirée. Like a party you have at night is a soirée. I would always tell my French students. Now, if you're going to bed, usually you'll say bonne nuit, which is similar. You see that N there, that root, where we have like night, which is like a Germanic spelling, but nuit, noche, night, and that just means have a good night, as in like going to sleep. Bonne nuit. So I say bonne nuit to like French and so many other people. But for Wyoming, exactly. See, French, you confirm. Yeah, for her, it's bonne soirée, because it's only 9 there in Pacific time. So you still got some partying left to do, girl. I don't know, whatever you want to do. Beignet. Oh, yes. Yes, right. Yeah, bonne noite. I know is that Portuguese? I know there's an Italian guy that lived on my floor in college one year. What did he say? Buonanotte. He's Italian. Buonanotte. Portuguese to me always sounds like, I feel like it's like French. I mean, I feel like it sounds like Spanish with French nasals thrown in, like randomly. Like it'll be like hola, buen dia. Like, to me, that's what it sounds like. Like I'm trying to speak Spanish, but then I throw in random French nasals. Like I always feel like when I'm listening to Portuguese, and I get lost. Like I have a much easier time understanding Spanish than Portuguese. I don't know why. So, boa noite, noite, something like that. It's easier to understand when you speak French. Yeah, it's true. You're trying to learn Portuguese. Yeah. Hey, I'm open to that. I love Brazilian guys are cute. I like Brazilian. I've had a lot of Brazilian boys flirt with me too. They usually like American guys. Anyway, okay, you all. Thank you so much for your support. Have a wonderful evening, and we will talk soon. Au revoir.